We like to emphasize on like togetherness. Like we want everyone to understand there's no such thing as race. There's no such thing as culture. There's no such thing as what's another like big topic that everyone's on. I feel like it's basically a lot of race and tension. Democrats and Republicans, separation. We're always separating each other and going against one another. But we're really just one species. I was telling him one time was, what's the one thing that's going to humble us is probably going to be another species, and then we'll come to realization that we're really just here to help one another.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that.
We're really just here to kind of combine our ideas and be creatives. We're not really supposed to be going to work 8 hours of our day, 10 hours of our day, and then coming home and still be stressed out, which is why a lot of people need to do meditation. And we're trying to make ourselves a brand. Our foundation that we're trying to come out with as well, it's called BFF. Bemus Future Foundation. So we're going to be like you said, raising awareness on mental health, raising awareness on domestic violence, things of those nature. We want to help out a lot of homeless people. I don't know if you've seen since you've been out here, but it's crazy with homeless people. So even in Cali, man, Cali looks crazy.
San Francisco, I think, has like one of the biggest like homeless populations.
It's ridiculous, and I'm like, wow, we have so much money or value in our time, but yet we don't like to give our time to anyone else. Like that's I wrote one time on my Instagram, I don't know if you noticed, but it was the most honorable thing you can do is give someone 8 hours of their day back. The only thing that's kind of wary about that is what are they going to do with that 8 hours that they're spending.
Yeah, no, it's I like what you said earlier, Austin, about having like 8 hours of your day, like instead of putting it towards like our job, right, our day-to-day job or whatever that we have, and putting it into like a skill set or like learning or growing and like amplifying ourselves, and like you'll see the difference of how we carry ourselves essentially. And I put out that hypnotherapy video recently, and I keep telling everybody that it sounds so crazy, but I promise on everything that like I feel like I have just healed in all areas. But at the exact same time, like you have to do the work every single day. Like you have to make sure that you continue to ground yourself
consciously,
and then continue to like carry yourself over and keep growing. So like like if we could do that, even if we do that with 1 hour of our day, like really like dedicate an hour to exercise or to meditate, I feel like we don't know the concept of time. We don't really understand how it really works truly, because people will be like, oh, I'll spend 5 hours of my day scrolling on Instagram versus taking at least 2-3 out of that 5 and going on, let me build my spirit, let me build my mentality, let me build my physicality. Like
it becomes like mechanical almost. Everybody wants to break time down into different components. Oh, I have this many minutes left, I have this many hours left. But if you start to look at it as one flowing thing, I feel like you start to get a better grasp of like
what's really possible with that 12 hours. For instance, 12 hours that we're really up. Since I got here, I bought a ridiculous amount of books, whether it's something that inspires me, whether it's something that's going to help build me spiritually. He puts me on a lot of philosophy stuff, and it starts making me think different, because another reference to just like a thing that he had texted me one time was the brain named itself. It was so much irony, I feel like, within that little writing or tweet. And I was like, wow, that's so true. Like, but where does it become that we have to like, where does it become where we have to understand what we actually are? The brain really named itself because it's capable of so much other things, but we haven't trained.
Oh yeah, because we only use like
a certain amount. What, 10%?
Yeah, something like that.
We tend to limit ourselves based on what scientific knowledge we have.
Yeah.
Instead of seeing, we've been able to gain this scientific knowledge. What is further than that? What can we use as a platform? Bemus is a classical Greek for platform or the foundation. So we're kind of using it as, it's literally like a platform to get us to be able to promote an idea more than a product. We're not really trying to promote a piece in itself, a fashion piece just in itself. We're trying to give you a product and an idea together. So I feel like once you get the idea across to somebody, the product speaks for itself. And that's where where we're at. I would say irony is like one of the centralized themes of our brand too, because a lot of things would tend to like have one idea and just start building on it and just run with it. We can bounce ideas all night long.
And that's why it's not just like a fashion house.
Yeah.
We're not making it a fashion house. We don't want it to be a fashion house. We want it to be like more like an association, something that you can come to when you need help for anything. We're just going to be able to provide design with also purpose. We're providing, you know, something that, okay, it's not harmful for the environment, but we're also not going to sit here and charge you $500 just because we want to become wealthy. No, it's more than that. I'll take a pay cut just to make sure, you know, that homeless man on the street has a meal or somewhere to go that way he can come and, you know, hey, let's go to Bemus. Or I like to like reference sci-fi stuff, so we have ideas of like galleries. One of them is, we're gonna call them Nostromo, and that was just a reference to the Alien movie. I don't know if you really peep like the original, but it's basically like, it's the beginning. It's like we were always told not to do something, but we were always told not to do something by our society. What happens when we go down our own path? Now we can take the risk of either it being bad or good, but that's really up to you.
Yeah,
it's
no,
up to how much
you have to take that leap first.
Yeah.
And going back earlier to what I was gonna mention to you, like this quick story, was when I was here back in March. I was hanging out with one of my friends, and she was telling me about this book that she was reading. And when I told her, man, like, I've been wanting to go to New York, like I'm always inspired when I go here. She was like, you know, sometimes when we're like looking over, I read this book, and in the book it talks about like when we look over like the ledge and we don't see anything, like it isn't until that we jump and that the net like appears to catch
that
us.
fear of an unknown.
Yeah, exactly. And I honestly can say that is literally what happened when I moved out here. Like day one, I woke up at my friend's crib and someone called me for like a job offer or like an interview, a phone interview, and I was like, what the hell? I didn't expect this to happen so quickly, you know. And just a lot of things have been going very well outside of that too, and I was just like, okay, like this, I'm allowed to be happy. I deserve these things, and like I took a chance, and like that's what we have to do in order for us to come kind of like propel forward.
Yeah, you're gonna be okay.
And it's like kind of like I feel like a lot with the law of attraction too, and also like going back into like the power of our brains and our minds, like what we attract, like the energy that we put out is also like what we'll end up attracting.
For sure. And that's why I tell a lot of people, meditate, train your mind to think a certain way, so that way you're not basing your feelings or emotions off of material things. When you're like, people will literally be unhappy when they don't have any money, or they don't have like the things that they see on these social medias. It's like, it's not about that. Go spend time with your family. Like, you go get to know like your siblings, go get to know your mom, go get to know your parents.
Cherish those moments. Absolutely.
Yeah, because you'll really never get those back. And like I was telling you earlier, like my cousin really passed away, and I understand with mental health. Like, nobody wants to speak on certain things because of whether it's ego or pride. But I feel like if you really speak on things, you can get past so much things by just having a conversation, a genuine conversation with someone that cares about your well-being. That could change so much. You don't even know what you could have really changed. But they're not looking for clothes, or they're not looking for cars and jewelry and, you know, everything that society's like, consume.
Yeah.
It's like, find what you love, make something out of it, and just live your life. Be happy. Take it every single day.
So tell me about like first tell me about how you guys like met originally.
I met him when we were kids, basically. Like I was a teenager, he was a kid. Like, we did like coaching. Like, it was me and other mutual friends.
Right now, I'm 20. He's 25.
Yeah, I'm 25.
Okay.
So when I was in like, I want to say early high school. We were hanging out with a mutual friend. He was younger than us, but he was good as hell at basketball. I don't know if I could say hell, but
no, you're good.
Like,
we can curse on
yo,
you.
my man was balling. He's actually set a couple records back where we used to live.
Oh, wow.
In Melbourne, but he was good. And honestly, I think he could have went, if he pushed himself further to the NBA if he really wanted it to. But I mean, other than that, how do we meet? Let's say, what was another like significant?
We would hang out and do like random stuff all the time whenever we first met. But there was probably a period of 3 to 4 years where we didn't really talk that much.
Yeah.
And then my senior year of high school, I was like, I was into the fashion stuff, but I noticed that he thought of it differently, and I noticed that he kind of thought of it deeper than just how stuff looks. So I hit him up again, and I was like, hey, we should I want to learn from you, like learn
it was like we were
thinking.
just reuniting after we grew into, I would say, adults, kind of.
Yeah.
It was like, as teenagers get caught up in, you know, you're doing whatever you want to do with your life, you're not really focusing on, you're just partying and just doing immature shit. I feel like
you're just kind of enjoying the
Yeah,
vibe,
yeah.
and you're catching a vibe.
Exactly.
We've all been there.
So then it was a couple years later, and we just linked up, and then I really realized, like, okay, he thinks exactly how I think. It was just intertwined, like, really like, when I call him my brother, I really mean it, because he helps me grow and I help him grow.
Yeah.
He was like, yo, I have this concept, and he explained it kind of like the way we're explaining it now, just through like different ideas, kind of trying to build
It
upon
was like
different
making
ideas.
us into something. If we had to be something physical,
Yeah.
what would we be?
And he was like, yeah, I want to call it Bemus. I was like, I'm in. Like, you didn't even have to.
Yeah, it was no question about it.
Yeah, it wasn't anything. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know where we were going to go, but I was like, yeah, I like that. I feel like we can do something with it. So, yeah.
And like, I knew his like mom and stuff. Like, we basically were like family already. We just weren't as close as we are now because we were just going down two different routes at that time.
Yeah.
Like, he's coming out here too once we get everything established, and he's in school right now. He's really about to graduate, and he's like, yo, we're just gonna come out here and just fully invest it into it.
The best way to do it, to be
Yeah.
honest. And
For
especially,
real.
I mean, we're all young here, but like you especially, I mean, you're 20. I mean,
Mhm.
holy shit. Like, if I was doing that when I was 20,
Exactly.
like, think about where I think about where I would be by now, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell my younger brothers. Like, each one of them started playing music earlier than I did, or than each other, I would say, like a year earlier.
Mhm.
So the youngest right now is killing it, and he's got like his own band. They have some music out, and
That's sick.
they're gonna do like their first like real show in
Say
West
the
Palm
name,
Beach.
Say the name.
Their names are, the band name is called Drive In.
That's sick.
and
sick.
and it's just cool to see, like, you know, like I was playing like house shows and doing covers when I was
Yeah.
my youngest brother's age, like 16, 17. And now, like, he has his own like original music at that
Yeah.
age,
Yeah.
you know, that's out on Spotify and shit. And so
Sick.
it's really cool
Yeah,
to
go
see that.
stream
And
that.
like,
Yeah.
no, definitely, yes. Please stream Drive In so he can get some money. The pennies that Spotify plays.
Yeah, and he
Uh,
found his passion, and that's
Mhm.
what it's about, man. Whatever you love.
I love that you said, like, you mentioned both sides of it. The young person who, like, doesn't really understand how much time they have on their hands to a certain degree, because I'm the same way still. And then it's also the looking back phase where you're like, if I was this age right now, I could do so many things, because I feel like it's an illusion. I feel like
It's
once,
just mini
yeah.
breaks. I describe it as mini breaks.
Yeah.
It's just
all of
one
us-
consistent day. You take little naps in between. There's
Mhm.
no such thing as like
That's-
the 11,
that's
12.
intense. Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, we're all the same age.
Yeah.
And when you talk about how great of a timeline
Because
the
it's just
whole world
mental.
has,
Age is, I like, people like to kind of put it towards like, oh, I'm getting older, my bones aren't as good, I can't really go. Well, that's just because you ain't exercise.
Yeah.
Like, if you're like 60 something, there's some 70 somethings out here that's running, you know, miles every
no,
single day.
Mhm.
For sure. They train their body to be that way.
It's in your mind, man. Like, stop limiting yourself. I feel like once the right timing happens, everything just kind of flows. Like, when we moved out here, it was kind of off of like a bad situation. It's in a negative way. It was an opportunity that we messed up, and we were just like, okay, what's the next step? It was me and my girlfriend, basically wife. We've been together for going on 6 years now, and we're
Nice.
working together and really like being transparent with one another, like working together as to grow one another. Like, we've grown so much since we were kids. And I feel like now we're starting to realize, like, okay, this is what's important to us. So when we, you know, messed up or fumbled the little bag, we basically, first thing that came to my mind was we're leaving. There's nothing more here for us. Like, where we were at in Melbourne, like, there was nothing there for us. It was just family. I'm very family oriented, so I spent time with my family a lot, and that was mainly the hard part.
Yeah, no, I hear
Was
that for
leaving
sure.
them behind and saying, dang, I'm gonna miss out on so much now. But then I also have family here that I haven't really spent time with, like my brothers and sisters. I was really kind of the only one back down in Florida. Everyone else was up here. So I told him, and I'm like, yo, we're leaving. He's like, yeah, that's
I was like,
perfect.
go.
Do it.
Go.
Yeah.
Everyone is always so shockingly like supportive. Like, And I mean, that's what they should do at the end of the day. But
For
even
sure.
when I was telling people that I was going, also like my job, my coworkers, you know,
Because they
friends,
see it in you, man.
Yeah, no, and it's the most like humbling thing.
Yeah.
Also, like very refreshing. I get like emotional thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like you gotta go, like do it. And I was thinking about it on the train today. It's so freaking hilarious. And maybe it sounds a little like, I don't know, like weird, but I was like, damn, I feel like I got written off like a show. Like I am like the reoccurring guest star or something whenever I catch up with my friends in Florida. Like I'm just doing my own thing, and like, you know, it's funny, but I mean, you know, just paving your own path.
Do you see the difference now? Like you being up here and then you talking back with them and seeing what their days are like and seeing what your days are like?
Yeah, no one has anything interesting to tell me.
At all. It's
No
crazy.
offense, guys. No
Yeah,
offense. I love
it is.
y'all.
Yeah.
I love y'all to death. But like, I'll be like, so what else is new? And they're like, well, that's pretty much it.
We went out to eat.
And I'm like, fuck, okay. I was like, I have all this tea. I have all this juice. I was like, yeah, can you believe this happened? No, I'm doing this and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, my days aren't even like that full of stuff either. Like you know, today, you know, I'm out, I'm commuting, you know, but like
It's
sometimes
just the
I'm
experience.
yeah.
You might not even do anything interesting. It's just like,
I got some
wow.
really good tacos. you
Yeah,
know,
w-
Queens.
really? Like-
Queens have the best tacos,
I
yes.
haven't even tried it over there. I had some over here and it was terrible. Shout out to the guy that we actually got free, what's it called, birria?
Berria, something like that, yeah.
Gave us free tacos because we didn't have cash on us.
Oh,
I was like, what? Okay, cool. So we parked up and we ate that. So that was cool. But yeah, I haven't had any good ones over here.
No, Queens. Everyone tells me that Queens has the best tacos. I can attest to that because I've had them and they're great.
Shoot, man. Like, have you been culture shocked? Like,
I don't think so. I was talking to my friend the other day, and we had this conversation because like I don't know how deep you guys are into like the zodiacs and stuff. And like,
I'm in there.
I love to entertain it. I'm not like a freak about it.
I don't
whatever.
prejudge you off of it.
Yeah,
I just
right.
know
You can't.
certain things
You
to look out
absolutely
for.
can't. And so I was saying, like, we were talking about like how I'm unbothered by a lot of things. And
Wait, what is your zodiac?
I'm an Aries.
Okay.
And like
It's
my
grandfather.
rising is a Scorpio, and my moon is a Sagittarius. That's all I know.
Okay.
But like, you know, Aries are like very hothead. They're a fire sign, whatever, competitive.
No
all that.
offense, but Aries are hard-headed too. Like, oh man, like
No, yeah,
it's kind of hard to.
I know plenty of hard-headed Aries, but
Yeah.
like I'm very like bothered by shit.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we were joking about that. I'm like, I'm an unbothered Aries. Like I'm just mad, the down for whatever
Yeah.
Aries, you know. And
See, man, that's the energy I like being around at least.
no, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And I feel like that's what's kind of like helped me through this whole transitional period, like post hypnotherapy, feeling like very much at peace with a lot of things, and then just being out here. Like I do miss my parents, you know, like I love my family. I'm waiting for my brothers to come visit out. But
Yeah.
like I talk to my friends very regularly through FaceTime, so I'm not like literally like I'm not bothered by, you know, being out here. Like I'm about to start working, so that's going to be a different, you know, perspective also. But I'm used to the walking. I had to adjust in the beginning when it came to like walking a lot, and then like my body being tired, so I had to like understand like, okay, let your body rest.
It took me a while to get more comfortable with like the freedom. Me and him were talking earlier about like when we dress up a certain way because we're into fashion, so it's like, all right, they look at you a little weird if you're not the normal, you know, pants, shirt, shoes.
Yeah.
It's like you try to make it a little bit interesting for the people and they look at you weird. But over here, it took me a while to realize, like, you know, because I'm still from here, I'm still from Brooklyn, but being so used to Florida and coming back over here, it's like, oh, okay, now I have to readjust because now it's really nobody cares. Everyone's so in their own business.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Like, I just want to go about my day, do what I want to do without no judgment. And I feel like back in Florida, man, it was just like everyone's looking at you weird. They're like, he's different. And when you're different, it just brings like, I feel more of like a negative attraction.
It usually does, and I don't know why. Like, instead of it being like praised for being like
it's not
bold
being
or
understood. That's what it is. It's when you don't get something, you call them crazy, right? Like when someone doesn't understand what you're telling them, you're crazy to them. If they don't know what you're talking about, it's like a turn off.
Everybody's they're more authentic up here, so it's like
For sure.
And when I say authentic, I don't mean that they're not in your business. They still notice what you do, but they understand that like their decisions are independent of whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
So whatever they do, they can still appreciate if you're living your own life without bothering them.
Yeah.
Or they can hate on you. Like, it doesn't matter. They're not actually caring. They still understand that you guys are in your own lane.
Yeah.
So I would say that's where the difference is here that I've noticed. But
Yeah, for sure.
I also feel like people are a lot kinder here than people give credit for. Yeah, I feel like in Queens, at least, like, there's definitely some like uptight.
Yeah, I think Queens is a little bit different.
Some uptight people for sure. But like whenever I go to Brooklyn and like I, hang out with people over there, like going to get coffee, like everyone's pretty kind.
You know,
going to get food.
I feel like people in the hood are more friendlier than people in like wealthier neighborhoods.
Yeah, probably, maybe.
Because when we're in the hood and we're in the elevator, I have the best conversations with people.
Yeah.
And then when I go to like a wealthier neighborhood, it's like we're in the elevator, like
it's
twiddling
like
our fingers.
Yeah, awkward.
I think everybody's they expect you to be mean, so they kind of like prepare themselves to be
maybe
mean
they have
to an extent.
their guard up or anything like that.
So it's like if you slip up, even if you're not trying to be mean, they're ready for it. Like they feel like you're trying to be mean off the bat, as opposed to going into something feeling like we all have the same like precautions, we all have the same desire to not be mean to everybody, but we don't go into the conversation that way a lot of times.
That's another thing too. It's like, why be mean to people? Man, everyone has their problems. Just make their life as easier as you want yours to be.
Yeah, and absolutely. You got to treat people the way that you want to be treated. And like, it goes as far as like, or as small as like holding the door for people. Like when we were coming up here, gestures. Like asking the guy like, yo, what floor you on? And the guy didn't even hear you. He was like, what?
Because they're not ready for that. They're not used to someone like,
like you acknowledge somebody's existence. You acknowledge that somebody there's a life form around you. And that's what I feel like we all tend to think of other people around us as kind of just like video game characters just walking around. They're just
it feels like that sometimes, or like
some GTA characters walking around. But once you actually acknowledge them, they're like, wow, like that's crazy, and that'll leave like a mark on somebody's the rest of their day, the rest of their week.
You might be having the worst day. They came home from work and this traffic over here, I don't know if you experienced it yet, but it's ridiculous. Nobody wants to deal with it after you come from an 8 to 10 hour job. So I understand everyone's just having their emotion, their ego, and everything's in the way there, but like you open that door for someone that has a whole bunch of groceries in their hand, it just tells them like, yo, you're important. I see you. I feel like everyone just looks through everyone these days, and that's also another influence of, again, social media. We look at social media as just like numbers. We look at everything as like obviously like a business, because we want to reach a certain level of influence, I guess you could say, these days, but I don't feel as though anyone's influencing good.
You want currency. People want currency.
Yeah.
They find
it's like, I'll pay you to say this instead of I'll genuinely say this, or I'll genuinely reach out to this person, give them credit for certain things. Like just how when shout out to Justin, JJ Khan, my boy, he linked me and Elijah together, and that's what it's about. It's connecting, and that's what Bemus is about, is being together. We're creatives. Let's connect together. Let's stop looking at each other as competition or who's doing a better job at this. Let's give each other our flowers and say, hey, good job, man. Because I already told you, Elijah, man, you're killing this.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
100%.
You have it. You got it in you, and you're going after it. And people are going to recognize that for sure.
It's been a challenge, literally, like, prior to moving here, because I appreciate that, by the way.
For sure.
Like, just trying to get like the numbers up, because I was stuck in like this numbers game for a little while. I was like, fuck, like I need, like, sometimes my followers will drop and and that's when I had that conversation with my friend, like, hey, like, do it with intention, and that's it, like, that's why you started this in the beginning, right? And I was like, yeah, like I got caught up in it humbled me. And now, like, I've just been trying to just be more curious, talk to people. Like this season in New York, I'm very excited for, because this is like my last interview for a little while, so that way I can space it out, so that way it's like an episode isn't airing like 2.5 months later. But like I have a few other people that I'm ready to contact and schedule the interviews, but like just making it happen, chatting with people, connecting with people, like, because like you said, that's what it's about, being together in community and helping, like, just elevating each other.
It's too much hate out here now.
Yeah.
It's too much people, like, again, race and culture and religion. Why are we fighting over those things that don't matter? Let's take the general message of what every religion, every person portrays, which is just being a good person and moving pure.
Literally, like, the one thing that you don't have to do, like, you just don't have to be an ass.
You
like,
don't.
That's the one rule.
You really don't.
And you will survive.
It's gonna save your self-work at the end of the day too.
Yeah.
If you're gonna be mean to somebody, you're causing more work for yourself. You're gonna harm yourself. It all
Just
comes back
karma
to
comes,
the
it comes right back around the
We're
corner.
all
and it's waiting for
connected.
you.
So
how far do you think you're gonna get screwing people over and doing crazy stuff to individuals that don't deserve it? Like, I mean, nobody deserves it, because who am I to justify that?
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like, come on, man. Like, let's just help each other out. Let's show love to one another. Let's stop this racist battle. Let's stop this political battle, and just, all right, what can we do to help everybody? We can't be greedy. We can't sit here and, you know, say, oh, I'm not gonna put this person in position because they might be able to take my position. It's like, no, at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that person's gonna thank you, because they just changed your life. Like, they just changed your family's life. Now you're able to do the things that you are gonna do, and hopefully you know, change someone else's life. Let's trickle it down. Let's keep it going as creatives, even with podcasts and stuff. Like, I hope, you know, people reach out to you and give you advice of, you know, hey, we could do this, or this might work out a little bit better for you, or even just the business behind it.
Yeah, I really love that you said, like we shouldn't have competition in general. Like,
Shouldn't
competition
exist.
is for, like, those big corporations, you know, like, that compete with each other.
That's insecurity. That's all it is. That's insecurity. If you're insecure
absolutely.
about competition instead of saying, hey, good job, there's something wrong with you.
We're all operating in independent planes. That's what people fail to.
With, like, kind of the same goal.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I call it 7 gigahertz. It's a frequency, you know, high level frequency. It's a high level of thinking. That's what I kind of labeled is. So me and my girlfriend's angel number is 7.
Oh, I love that.
As you can see, you know, 7 gigahertz is just same wavelength. We're thinking alike, we're acting alike, we're doing what's best for us as a whole.
Yeah, it's not the same sound, but it's the same frequency.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to have the same exact idea as somebody. Your idea is not
I freaking love
interfering
that.
with
That's
somebody.
so crazy.
But you're still operating in the same.
Same space. Same space, just different. Just like radios, you go to another radio station, they're playing country. You go to another radio station, they're playing rap. You're still on a radio station regardless. It's just you're in just a couple different lanes.
And those two can't even compete with each other because they're different genres.
Exactly.
You know? So yeah, I like that a lot, to be honest, because I feel like as creatives, like, we always have to try and figure out, like, first of all, I think we're always drawing inspiration from everything that we see already, and, like, our quote unquote competitors or people that are doing something similar to us, like, we see something and we're like, oh, that's really cool, like, let me try to manipulate that or modify it, and, like, it's a form of flattery, to be honest, you know. But, like, sometimes, you know, we get very caught up in, like, wanting to do something so different to, like, impress, like, a certain group of people or like a certain audience, and then that is when, like, it starts to, I feel like, fall apart on itself, because you're no longer doing something that is catering to you. Like, you started the project, you started this piece of art, this song, music, whatever that it is. Like, you obviously did it because it's something that kind of resonates within you, or it's something that's suppressed that you're trying to put out in, like, a creative outlet. And so now when you start to do stuff that is like, oh, I'm really trying to make it for, like, these people, like, I feel like it's always going to be a little bit more fabricated or saturated, because you're not really putting yourself first.
Yeah, anytime you look at,
genuine.
once you start looking at life through somebody else's lens, I feel like that's where it starts to harm you, whether it be, oh, I'm trying to impress this crowd, so I'm going to look at what I think they like from their perspective, or whether I'm trying to show everybody that I'm better than this person. You're still trying to look at how they look at life and how people around both of you look at life, whether you're just straight up hating on somebody because you're looking at it differently from them. I feel like once you get out of your own lens, that's where it starts to harm you, instead of just trying to realize that everybody has a different.
I put it in a way one time when we were talking. I had told Auston, if that path isn't made for you and it's made for that other person, that means that you're straying away from your actual path that God has written for you. God wants everyone to be successful. God wants everyone to reach their fullest potential, right? And I say God loosely because I'm spiritual. I think in a higher being, I just like to, it's a title to me. Yeah. So I understand that there is a higher power, but I feel like when he makes a certain path for you and you don't follow it, you're not going to go down the path of, like, success or purity, because you're going to move disgenuine. Like it wasn't meant for you. That was meant for you. Let's say if I try to do a podcast, right? And that's not my path, but I'm trying to mimic you, or I'm trying to, you inspired me to do one. I'm doing exactly like you too. So it's like, it doesn't fit me. You could tell when I'm uncomfortable. You can tell when I'm acting. It's easily sensed. It's energy around us. Even when we're talking, I can feel discomfort from another person, same as you. So I always tell people, just, go down that path and make those decisions that are right for you. Even with another topic I wanted to also speak on was just parenting. I notice a lot of parents pressure their kids to go down a specific path that is nothing. You don't even get to know your kid. They don't even love that.
They don't get to know themselves.
Exactly. It's like I graduate high school. I either am going straight to the Army, right? I didn't get any time to get to know myself and struggle through life. I just went to the Army. Nothing against the Army or the military. This is full respectful. I'm saying allow the kids to get to know themselves and know what they truly like, because that also causes trauma on that person once they come out of those situations. It's the same thing as kids living in poverty. They look at kids living in poverty like they're not putting people in the Army, and they have the same traumas: anxiety, depression, PTSD. It's the same things. We're not meant as humans to handle those type of situations, because we're fighting over pointless stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff that is not, we can't take nothing with us. So we're fighting over what? Oil. We're fighting over land. We're fighting over, civil rights and things of that nature. Because I still think that fight's not done. So we're going to emphasize on that. But I just think, again, it's just a lot of people need parenting. Let your kids grow up. Let them live the life you want. Stop trying to control them. Let them make mistakes, but you guide them.
It's more, once you start trying to create a perfect image for your kid and trying to make them live that way, I feel like you're less inspired to a degree. You're it's more of an extension of yourself, which is obviously going to happen no matter what. But the more freedom you give them in terms of what they actually want to do on their course toward life, I feel like you can easily get more inspired, because you get a new perspective every time, rather than trying to give them a one-size-fit-all type of character.
No, for real.
You get to see the variances that you never thought of, even though it's still an extension of you. You get to see something that you didn't see in yourself. So
for sure.
No, and I'm very grateful for my parents, because I feel like that similar thing has happened, because my parents are Christian. I consider myself very spiritual. But there are different perspectives that I have that over the years I've been able to show them, and still more or less maybe they don't always agree or they disagree, but they're able to at least understand why I think certain things, even if I'm not 100% following their footsteps or anything like that.
Yeah, that's all that matters too.
And there's always a good mutual agreement. And also, my folks gave me the freedom to pursue anything that I wanted also, which I'm grateful for. They tried to put me in sports when I was in grammar school or something, I was
that's just them trying to keep you active.
I was doing soccer, and I was like, I don't really like this, man. I couldn't do it. And once the music started kicking in, they were very supportive, got stuff, let me play. I didn't realize how annoying drums are until my youngest brother started playing. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is so obnoxious. This is what I was doing. I get it now. I get it. But, they let it go, they let me keep playing and stuff. So, I'm very grateful that they never had to, they never told me, you need to go and major in this and do that. They always let me
You need to make money out of it. That's going to come.
At some point, I know that they were very adamant about, my career, more specifically my dad, working at the news station. You don't want to leave that job for a part-time, and you don't want to leave that to do this. And eventually, he understood, I gotta go. I need to go to New York, and I have no idea what to expect. I've applied to a lot of places. I'm not guaranteed to work in a news station again. I'm just gonna go for it. And after some time, he was like, all right, you're right. I'm happy for you. You gotta do it. So it's cool, to see that turn around. So I do agree with you. I think it's very important to allow, future generations and children and teenagers, to kind of figure out what they want for themselves and figure out who they are and embrace themselves, learn to love themselves. And if the parents are going to be very judgmental of that or whatever, that's going to prevent them from kind of finding that love for themselves sooner, I think. Or maybe it'll propel them to find it sooner, but it might create a little bit of distance between the folks,
I like how you mentioned that even if you guys have a disagreement, they kind of understand why you think a certain way now. Because something that I've read that sticks with me every day is that you should save your explanations for people who try to understand.
Oh, I love
and you
that.
should be silent toward the people who don't want to try to understand. Because
Message. That's an important message.
Like, I can sit here and I can explain myself all day long, but if you're not trying to understand it, I can't get my point
It's
across
like
to
the
you.
same.
It's like talking to a brick wall.
You
So
take
it's
a
like,
horse to water, but you can't make it drink. My
Exactly.
grandfather always told me that. And I was like, that's so true. You're going to sit here and you're going to take somebody that's just already closed-minded,
They've
already
made up their mind
knocked
already.
you out of their head as soon as you began talking, because they don't even trust or value your words. Very true.
Yeah.
Like,
And then the other thing is like the way we're going with how we view God and stuff like that. I feel like God gives you a situation. We have a creator that gives us a situation. He puts us in whatever environment that we're in, but you have the freedom to do whatever you want with those tools that he gives you. That's not in his job description to have you go this specific route and do this and make this decision.
Yep.
He gave you the tools and was like, okay, you have this purpose and you're gonna go find it in a free way. So
Yeah,
I'm a
free
firm
will.
believer in God's footwork.
for sure.
You got
Your
good
plan's
footwork.
already written out. Just make the right decisions, and you're gonna get to where you want to be. He already has you written in the books for where.
Do you
wanna
think
be.
you'll get there any quicker though, like depending on like the decisions that you make, or do you feel like it's just kind of already laid out like with a specific timeline?
It's already a timeline to me.
I think it go both ways. I feel like there's a parallel universe where I took a different route to get to the same
To get to the
same
That's deep.
destination.
I had a concept
Yeah.
in my
Deep
head or a
thought.
theory, like when you pass, like God shows you every single possible route, like of what could have happened if you made this decision.
Wow.
Like,
It's like the Rick and Morty episode. He put on he had the crystal and we could see every outcome based
Yep.
on every decision he made. He started going
That'd
crazy.
be kind of scary, man.
That would
to be
freak me
honest.
out.
Like I would be like, what? Like
Yeah.
I feel like when I dream and shit like that happens, like, well, not that specifically, but like, you know, when I have like some vivid dreams and, you know, just different things of like, you know, experiences, because we still dream with some people that we know in real life, right? And so like whenever I see like different people like in my dreams,
yeah.
I'm like, what's going on? Like, you know, why what is my subconscious thinking?
Yeah.
You know? And I just feel like the whole alternate reality parallel universe with like our subconscious and dreams, like it's all just a mix of
I feel
just-
like it's intertwined. There's a couple people we look at on Instagram, me and my girlfriend and I, and one of them is a hood healer. I recommend you follow. She's like just real and raw about it, but she's really good at what she does because she predicts a lot of good things. She lets us know when certain zodiacs are in is it the moon?
Yeah, like when a certain like the new moon in Aries, or
Yeah.
something like that.
So she was saying basically like my theory, kind of get back to the dream thing, almost dropped the thought there, but back to the dream thing was my theory is like your spirit is always ahead of your physical body. So you dreaming about those things, and that's what deja vu is your body catching up to the spirit. So your spirit already is like
That's crazy.
maybe a year, 10 years ahead, because it has no physical thing to hold it back from traveling. So that's my theory on that. But
I heard something once when I like did when I went to like this crystal shop. Me and this guy were talking about like astral projection, and I really want to get like more into it because I don't know everything about it. But he was telling me like you know, like, have you ever had sleep paralysis before?
oh, scariest
Yeah.
thing ever.
Oh my god, it sucks. But
I had it twice. Scariest thing
it always
ever.
happens when you lay like on your back.
On my back,
Terrifying.
yeah.
So, and what he was explaining to me, again, like, I don't know 100% this is what he told me, but I trust him. He seems like a very trustworthy guy. He was like, you know, like when our like spirit or like, you know, when we astral project, like sometimes
Outer body.
it's an outer body like experience, and like what that entity tends to do is kind of disrupt the greater good and like all the other stuff that's going on in this world unintentionally, to be honest. And so that feeling of that the suppressing feeling in our chest, like when we are in sleep paralysis, is supposed to be like these angels or something like trying to keep us down.
Yeah.
And I felt like it was very relatable when he said that, because whenever I've astral projected, like I've only been in my room, like you don't really go anywhere else. So I
Yeah.
feel
Right.
like it's like
You're not trained yet on how to travel through.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they're like trying to keep you down so you don't go anywhere and fuck anything up.
Yeah.
Is what he told me, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy, you know. And like I've lucid dreamed before, you know. Like
Yeah.
I lucid dreamed last night. Like I remember seeing my necklace that I have on, but it looked way bigger and there was some other stuff on it, and I was like, that's not what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like I am dreaming right now.
I've never got to do that, but I've tried when I was younger. Never got into lucid dream to like be able to like control it. I did it once actually. It was a bad dream. That basically a building was falling. I remember saying this is a dream, and
like
the building
Inception,
fell.
dude.
Yeah, the building fell, and I was just outside the building. I didn't die because obviously your mind can't process it, but I remember like the building fell, and I was outside of the building. And I was like, I controlled that dream just now. Holy shit. I woke up and everything and told my girlfriend, like, yo, I just did this and that. That was cool. But psychedelics is something also we're like starting to learn about in a more educational way. They're starting to use it for therapy too.
Yeah, I've heard about. I forgot who I was talking about with this, but like I've heard that like like they're doing like certain like micro doses or microdosing with certain psychedelics as a form of therapy.
Yeah, they're curing anxiety, depression. DMT is one that's like I guess the highest or most potent. You can also like get it from like a frog, a certain frog.
Yeah.
But I've seen a couple YouTube videos. They have. We actually want to go to. I don't even know if I told you this, but we actually wanted to go to. It's like a resort for DMT and psychedelics.
Where is it?
I think Mexico, if I'm correct.
Mexico.
But don't quote me on that. 'Cause
I know
can't
that
really remember.
there's like I've met a shaman before in Peru,
Mhm.
but I never did ayahuasca. I wanted to
Yeah.
be honest.
I don't know if I'm ready yet.
I'm half Peruvian, so I was like, yo, I'm in my like I am in the motherland
Yeah.
right now, like, you know. And I talked to two people who have done it. Well, one of them has done it, and then the other one was about to do it. So they make you drink this like water or like this cleansing detox water for like 7 days, and you're gonna.
You can't eat anything.
I don't remember if he told me he ate anything. I really don't think so, to
See,
be
I'm
honest.
too skinny for that.
Yeah.
I
I'm in
don't.
the
I think
hospital.
I
maybe
can't
you
starve myself.
probably have to eat once or eat this soup. I don't remember, to be honest.
Mhm.
It was like 2 years ago. And then the other guy told me that he did do it and he healed a lot because he was like divorced or
Yeah.
going through a divorce, and like, you know, he was able to forgive his ex-wife and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, wow. I
And
wonder what
he-
she did.
I don't know, man. It
Wait,
must
was
have
it forgivable? You know what I mean? Like, are you sure?
messed him up to go to Peru.
Yeah, right?
These are people that travel from like they're not from Peru. One of them was from Chile, and one of them also was like he was Persian or something,
Yeah.
like, you know. And so
It made
was
him
just-
realize just what was important. It probably was some little thing that kind of just wasn't even needed, and his ego got in the way.
Yeah,
and
maybe.
those things tear apart your ego.
Yeah,
There's people that have bad trips though, like.
Yeah, that's what I'm
just a
concerned
heads up.
about.
Yeah, don't go out here. We're not promoting this, guys. We're just saying, look into it, do your research. But,
absolutely.
Like, there's a person that like witnessed, I guess, their birth, and was just yelling the whole
That's
time.
that is
Yeah.
weird. Yeah, I've seen some YouTube videos where people are like screaming, laughing, like they
Mhm.
feel like they're getting tickled or something,
Yeah.
like screeching, like.
There's some that say they met God,
Mhm.
like they spoke with God or these entities. Like, it was amazing. I look at a lot of YouTube videos. I read up a lot of stuff on this. There's a video too on. Oh, that's a different topic. We won't get too deep into that. That's alien. So you guys want to take it there? We can take it there. But the psychedelics is another thing that I feel like a lot of people should think about doing. At least doing like a therapy session with it.
Yeah, I think it's important to not like dismiss anything like right off the bat. Like going back to like the whole prejudgment thing, like with people, like when we see people, like, you know, just not judging them for how they dress or maybe
It's
how they
because
talk.
I feel like well, at least myself, I feel like it's because people do it. We feel like someone's doing it to us, so we're doing like the reverse projection of us on them.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
we're like it's like kind of anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, when you're talking to a person, you think they're judging your facial feature or your personality, and you're thinking they think this about you, but inside your head,
It's
they're
never that.
thinking
Yeah.
that.
It's never
Yeah,
that.
they're
I saw
never
something
thinking that.
on like on Instagram that someone said, you know, like, heads up, if you think that something that someone posts on Instagram is about you, it's most likely not about
Yeah.
you.
It's
like,
just yourself. You are guilty.
you feel guilty
Yeah.
and you're inserting yourself in that situation, or, you know, like, you're just egocentric or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like it's not everything is about you. And
That's mainly what it is.
Huh?
Oh no, they're gonna start just now at 6.
What time? Are we good?
Yeah.
We're good. It's like 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, we had a quick commercial break. But yeah, like, so the world does not revolve around us, but like we can definitely like place ourselves in the utmost like important like pedestal for ourselves and our beings.
Yeah.
But like to everybody else, like we're not that, you know, like everybody has to be that for themselves.
Yeah,
You know
I
what
feel
mean?
like you have to address your ego at some point, not necessarily kill it, because
You
your
need
ego
one to survive.
Yeah, your ego is what makes you an individual in this
Yeah.
world. But at the
Mhm.
same time, once you get to look at it from an outside perspective and actually see it and acknowledge the fact that, oh, sometimes I do want the world to revolve around me, it's like, okay, I can step out of that position for a moment and
Mhm.
kind of suspend my ego for a second to look at certain situations and try to think independently of the ego.
For
So,
sure. But that's why it's good to travel. Remember I was
Mhm.
telling you this earlier too.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
like a lot of people don't leave their own born city, and that's when they start to become egocentric, is because you don't know anything else. All that's on your mind is you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like if you travel multiple places, I'm not talking about vacation. I mean traveling in the sense of getting to know other cultures, getting to know other, like you said, other people's perspectives. It's important because then you'll start to understand you're so tiny in this world.
Mhm.
You're a speck of atom on this planet.
Yeah, I've had the privilege to travel to Peru. I've been to Brazil. Brazil was more of a vacation though, but still, like it was, you know, very.
Probably learned so much and saw so much.
Yeah, I got to see a lot, and then also I've been to Kenya on like a mission trip twice, like so for 2 years.
Mhm.
And that was very. I mean, both Peru and Kenya were very like eye-opening because that's big like culture shock, you know. The people, like the kids in Kenya, are so joyful, and you know, like
Just grateful for the little things.
They live in
yeah,
the
you,
present.
Like-
you give them a freaking like basketball or like
Yeah.
a toy, you know, like something
wanna
that we
be
wouldn't
kids.
even look at,
Yeah.
you know, and like they shout with excitement, you know, and then like in Peru too, like just the people there are just very like, I don't know, it's just very cool to see, like, you know, like I said, I'm half Peruvian, like my people, like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
so humbling to be out there and
Like,
like
okay, this is where basically I came from.
This is my
where
great-grandparents,
everything
yeah.
leaded to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I went to Rainbow Mountain and Machu Picchu, and like seeing those like sites was just phenomenal, and it was very like, I don't know, there's a
I feel
word
like
that I want to
it's
use.
like subconsciously.
Sublime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the sublime.
Perfect.
You feel like it's like a new type of love / inspiration. It's something amplified that you
Yeah,
haven't
it's
felt
that
before.
refreshing
Yeah.
feeling, like, oh, okay, wow, like there's people out here that don't even have internet.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
like we live in and that's what I mean. Like a lot of people
We
look
take things for granted.
and they take things for granted, and he just thinks things are so important. But there's people in what was it? I think like certain parts of Africa still don't have internet, right? I'm sure there's other places that's only where I could think about, but
Yeah.
that's like think about how behind they are, because we're exposed to now so much off of these social media and just Google and stuff. We could research anything and see it for what it is.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's like a freaking time limit of how
Yeah.
long you can
Yeah.
use Wi-Fi in Cuba also.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like it's
Remember, I
it's
think they were trying to do that here too at certain points. of-
wild. They
something
could
like
never.
that.
Yeah.
They could.
We wouldn't be able to handle it. What? That's when everything goes crazy. You take
Dude,
away Instagram from like
the
it's
power
like,
goes out or something
it's like
like
taking
that.
Instagram away from crackheads. Like,
Oh my god, yeah, man. I'm victim of that though. I gotta be honest. Like that's how I kind of keep.
Man, trust me, we
in
all
contact.
are.
We all
Yeah,
are.
it's just I encourage people to follow artists and creatives and get rid of the influencers.
Use it for the like to your advantage too. Like for the creatives, use
Yep.
it as an advantage, and for people that consume content too. Like learn things, you know, follow pages
Yeah.
that you can support,
Yeah.
local businesses, local creatives, all that stuff. Like use it to just kind of elevate everybody. In
Yeah, I
this
hate
world.
to say it though, like a lot of people use it in a super personal way, and there was this saying back then when you first had MySpace and things like that. It's like, watch what you put on the internet, and people are now just putting their lives on the internet. And I'm like, you guys got to slow down a little bit and just think about what you're doing. Like, yeah,
some
it's cool.
some stuff doesn't age well. Like
Yeah,
Twitter
exactly.
taught us that.
Yes, yes, exactly. And I just think a lot of people like, hey, not everybody cares to see your mom and dad. Some things you keep under wraps. Like, you know what I mean? Like, Happy Father's Day to everybody, of course. But everyone's posting their dads. It's like, go spend time with them.
Yeah, no, I was very grateful because mine came in today. We're recording in June right now, so by the time this comes out, it'll be a little bit later. But yeah, today is Father's Day, and my folks visited. Like, they came for the weekend, and so it was really cool to spend some time with them. But I get what you mean too, though. Like, like everybody loves a picture, and like, I posted my picture today too. I don't always do it, but today I was just like,
not that there's anything wrong with that. I don't want to put like
sure.
a negative like thing on. I'm just saying, just be careful of certain things because people are watching, and they might target you in certain things. Unfortunately, we do live in that type of time now these days where they killing a whole bunch of people for no reason. So
I feel like there's that, and I feel like it's easy to deceive yourself in a way, because if you say don't live anywhere near your parents, but you post them on Instagram on this holiday, instead of actually genuinely sending them a heartfelt message, I feel like it's easy to take that and run with it for the future. You're like, oh, okay, I posted them, that's fine.
See,
I got my love out of the way for the day. It's like
stop trying to perceive yourself in a way and just be real.
Yeah, I feel like if you genuinely did say something to them and you acknowledge how grateful you are for them, whatever, that's cool, and I feel like that's what they deserve. But once you kind of isolate that from the post is where it's kind of like,
it's a thin line.
Yeah, it's a very thin line.
Yeah. No, I get that for sure. Yeah, I think that a lot of people will see people post and then like be compelled to post, and then it's like a FOMO effect or whatever. Like,
it's like, I'm not following the trend of
like people are posting this, and that goes for anything too, like excluding like Father's Days and Mother's Day, like birthdays or anything. Like when people, like back when I was on Twitter, like people talking about the Grammys, like we gotta be tweeting about the Grammys, like oh what, that performance was crazy, like, and we all just doing the same thing. Like, it's unnecessary. We could just watch the Grammys and like with a group of people and talk shit amongst us.
I'd rather more in person. Everyone coming over to my house.
I love doing that.
I love that way more than tweeting about it and sitting at home alone, like
posting memes about all the performances.
Man, you remember Uvu days and Skype late at night when you're a kid? Like,
I was just talking about Uvu. I was like, what the
man? Uvu was the start.
Yeah, Uvu was like, all right, it's a group.
That was the original Zoom.
Yeah,
man.
Uvu was a Soulja Boy FaceTime.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
No, seriously, Uvu was literally like the Soulja Boy of FaceTime. Like, I did it first, and we just made a group of people just having fun on, like, at late night watching movies, talking, dumb stuff.
But like, it's private. You're not posting. You're not tweeting your thoughts with them. You guys understand that you have a certain group dynamic. You have certain ideas that are normal to the group that might not be normal to put out on your main page for social media and stuff like that. So
since we're on the topic of social media still, I mean, I like to just keep things real. You know what I mean? I like to, dive deep into this. We got to get out of that trend of like, I feel like men showing like everyone, nobody shows their personality on Instagram. Everyone shows their angles. We'll put it that way. Girls show their angles, men show their financial status. Yeah. It's not a dating site, people. Like, somebody follows you, they're not trying to get with you. It's okay, just relax.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just get to know people. Like, don't get out of that phase of like, show yourself. Show your personality. Keep it personal, but not too personal. But I'd rather you show your personality and what you like to do than versus you taking selfies all the time. You'll run across pages and all they have is selfies.
Yeah, there's no blueprint to follow.
There's no
for
fun
Instagram.
to it anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody lives to a certain blueprint. They have like a set of instructions that they feel like they need to follow on Instagram. Like, I need to make this post to optimize my amount of likes to get my views out there. So it's like, that's not fun. It's not.
It becomes work at some point.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I like doing like my mockumentaries. Like, I feel like that's my way of kind of having fun with the bullshit that I do on my day to day.
Yeah.
And I feel like that.
I love those, honestly.
Thank
like,
you.
It like, even your little outtakes and all that stuff, like, those are cool. I'd rather see that than see like the official thing, because it's like, we're not perfect.
No, exactly. And that's how it kind of started. Like, when I would get nervous about doing interviews. I mean, I still get nervous. Like, kind of like, I make mistakes and all that stuff, especially when we were doing it on camera. And when I started, when I started going back through the footage, I would see like, yo, I kind of fucked up here a few times, or this person said something embarrassing or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I started like cutting that up, and that was like a cool thing that I was running with for a while, like the We Are Human bloopers. And then after that, like when I was leaving my job, I made a poll and I was like, you guys interested in like mockumentaries at my job? Like, you know, what you guys wanted, I'll do it.
I like seeing that.
I like them.
Yeah. Thank you. And so yeah, it just kind of like me being me, like that's really how
we
like
are human.
Yeah, literally.
It's okay to have emotion. It's okay to not be perfect, but we are human. Get used to
Exactly.
it. Like nobody's perfect. These influencers, all that, I don't know their day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? Like they're regular people with just a financial status.
Yeah, you see a highlight reel from them.
Yeah.
You never see the full play.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
see
You don't see the full game.
Yeah.
You don't see
like-
the raw footage.
Exactly.
So people just need to understand that though. Like it's okay. Cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to laugh. It's okay to get angry. But just understand you can control certain things.
The most difficult thing to do is get mad at the right person at the right time in the right place and for the right reason. You can get mad at somebody, it might be in the wrong place at the wrong time for the wrong reason. That's easy. Same thing as if you do it the other way around. But like to do all of that at the correct time takes a lot of like actual deep thought, I feel like. So it's good to acknowledge the fact that we have emotions in certain situations because everybody feels emotional about everything. But to actually step away from them, you have to suspend them for a second and try to look at it.
You have to get out of your ego
Yeah.
and recognize, okay, I'm feeling this way. Ask yourself why. Why am I feeling this way? Okay, what can I do to come to a resolution? Instead of just like with arguments, people will argue with you, but majority of the time people would argue with you because they're feeding their ego. They want to feel powerful or more superior instead of how can we resolve this issue?
Yeah, they're not focused on resolving the issue.
exactly.
They're trying to, you know, like you said with the ego, like they're trying to prove a point, or they're trying to justify their actions, justify their reactions, or anything like that. Trying to justify anything, or sometimes like they'll consider it like I'm just explaining to you like my situation, my point of view, or anything like that. And it's like,
And it's
I
okay.
felt like I was there for a little bit too, to be honest. Like a while back, like I would always try to explain myself. And
Or over-explain. I
Or
have a bad
over-explain,
tendency
yeah.
with that as well. I'll over-explain myself because I don't want you to get the wrong perspective or
Yeah.
miscomprehend what I'm trying
we
to get
want to be
across.
understood. Like we want to be understood, but we also have to understand like where we were wrong, and just kind of like
And acknowledging it, taking accountability.
And then meeting in the middle of like, okay, well, what are we gonna do about it now? Like, how can we resolve the conflict?
I was telling when we have these conversations, I'm telling people like, hey, a majority of the time people don't know how to say no, or I don't know. It's like when you say I don't know, you kind of get this feeling inside like, dang, I'm an idiot, dang, I'm stupid, I don't know this, or I'm gonna lie to you and act like I know it, giving you misinformation and take you down a whole another route. I think it's okay to just admit when you're wrong, admit when you don't know something. Just taking that accountability of, hey, I got to correct that about myself. No, tell me more. How can I learn from you?
Yeah.
Because you seem to know more about this than me. And people just don't want to feel it's insecurities.
I love when people explain stuff to me and don't make me feel stupid. Like that is one of the best feelings, is when somebody genuinely tries to educate you on something they have, try to explain a situation that they've been a part of, or just like information in general, without trying to make you feel stupid. They understand that you have a different set of knowledge rather than the exact one that they have. So they want you to get to the same point that they're at.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best feelings, honestly, in a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not like belittling you or anything
Exactly.
like that. Like they're being patient, and that's someone that is also, I would say, like emotionally intelligent, like to kind of understand like how positive reinforcement or like negative reinforcement works, also like in psychology, like whether someone's training you at work, or maybe it's just like a philosophy or anything like that, just trying to give you their perspective or whatever it is that they're trying to
It's
explain
just
to
the
you.
intention of it, and you have to decipher what that person is. Are they? Because people's tone could come across differently.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So their tone might piss you off, but take the general message. Don't take their tone. Take the general message, because more than likely, if it's a person that cares about you or loves you, I feel like they're gonna want the best for you. So they're just giving you that advice. Now, again, decipher, because there are a little bit of misperceptions out there, and certain people, don't want your best interest. So feel like you just gotta, like, make sure.
You gotta play smart. You gotta be cautious, and
Yeah.
it's good to have your guard up for sure, but also like let your walls down from time to time.